I'm recording a video a little in advance for Friday so that I have time to do other things to prepare because the candlelighting time is getting earlier and I'm still catching up. So I'm talking about shyness from Sean Sheshan Heshmatpur. He says we have to escape victimhood, which means move away from the why me to the challenge accepted. This is about taking accountability. We have to manage our mind every single day. We have to own up to where our shyness is not fed, and we're ignoring the outside, everything that's outside of the comfort zone. We have to be willing to see it, like see where we're cutting ourselves short. And that means that we live with integrity. We're honest, we're true to our values, we have high morals, even with ourselves, right? We have to be intentional. That removes the self-doubt and increases self-confidence. But he says do this with everything. Don't let doubt and lack of confidence creep in even in the little areas. Be intentional about everything. We have to be optimistic and grateful, which we can accomplish by just appreciating life, he says. Accept the timing of the universe. We have to have goals and dream. Could be about a future lover, high income, career, new home, place, or it'll come, We just have to develop awareness and trust and use our best intuition, sense feelings, of situations. And finally, he says, exercise and express kindness. Because we love and hate ourselves through other people. We have to stop shaming and hating. And then I want to share some ways that I see synapses. And the time that I had this conversation was with somebody where we were like joking how we're each a lion. And in this case, we said him and I are both a lion. So we're like two lions. And there was actually like a cat there that I was cat sitting for at the time. So maybe I was not the lion and they were the lions, or maybe I was the lion and the cat was the lion and he was not a lion. Who knows? But we started with two lions. So the topic here is synapses. And excitatory or inhibitory neuronal impulses go on and off. So there's like a daisy chain, a masterminding. It's like turn that one on by turning the one that turns. So let me say it like this. There's one that's turned off. When you turn it on, it turns off. When you turn it off, it turns on. So it's something called an inhibitory neuron. It turns off other neurons. So let's say you have an excitatory neuron. It gets excited, it turns on other neurons. So then you have an excitatory neuron turn on an inhibitory neuron. You can actually turn the next neuron off. You excite a neuron that excites a neuron that gets turned off, and then it turns the next one, that gets turned on, which then in turn turns the next one off, but that could turn the next one on. So you could have these chains of turning this on, this off, this on, this off, and it's going all around, and it's doing a lot of this, and it's like that's our consciousness. It's when we take everyone, we have to take everyone's sounds and sins and shame and hate along with its gold sometimes. Like, our self-consciousness shows us that we have to let me put it like this. When I was willing to be conscious of myself, even while somebody else couldn't see me, I got some gift from them in the moment. And that may be hard to understand, except you have to say they were not willing to know the wisdom of being conscious in the moment, so I got their portion because I had to be conscious for both of us. So that was the payoff of the very difficult times where I felt completely alone in my consciousness with others who were not conscious or present. And also, like, God would want above, below, peer levels, because if we ever think that God made anyone else who could think that we know better than the situation. The situation is God. It already is. So God made people to think that we know better, and we also don't know better. We look up to something, and also the same level. Like, we understand why things are. And finally, I love this idea that, like, things are connected. Like, in my mind, suddenly I saw eunuch which is the one who is, what's it called, celibate, asexual, is also like unique. And they were like special people who did special things. And it's like unicorn, which is like a unique kind, only one of its kind. And I want to say the nervous system is instinctive and is both the future and the past. It knows the outcomes and the incomings all along. And it genuinely wants us to be breathing deeply, relaxing. It'll do almost anything to achieve that, which means it requires training to handle anything that quickens the breath or causes arousal, because it wants to reassure us. It is assurance as a form of electricity and light. And albeit, it's a very high or, chaotic, like very quick, unpredictable vibration because of not groundedness. So then it means reassurance when it hits something else, whatever that else is, it's something else. And it returns, versus when it's grounded, it comes through us. We're in charge, and just assurance. Then presence, like present moment experience is assurance. We are part of the present moment experience. We're part of the assurance. But that's when we understand blessing or comfort. And that's when our synapses tell us that we are in alignment. And I'm going to say these are some tactics I really didn't like. They made me feel like they were bullying shyness or consciousness, right? Because that was like the last two topics that I was sharing on. So this is like tactics where I feel like it disrespects consciousness or sensitivity, like sensitivity or thoughtful consciousness. Reminds someone of their low beginnings and mistakes, or accuses the other of what they're doing, whether it's being respectful or talking too much, screaming message at random times, saying that they don't want an apology, covering up shock with negative projections, or trying to force the person to absorb the consequences of their actions, bringing up past sins or saying private things publicly, screaming obscenities or derogatory statements, refusing to go for a walk to give space even when in the other person's space, taking away someone's voice or having to make them argue about every little thing, constantly moving around, distracting, provoking, challenging, being disagreeable, micromanaging, proving, competing, coming in with the kind of accommodating, humble energy, and then having an aggressive, rude, entitled, unappreciative energy, self-sabotaging, then blaming others for things not going well because they lack the foresight and reasonability. Finally, guilting to get the person to fear abandonment because of their past self-treated like ways of feeling like a burden. And I'm going to say here, that the last stuff I'll share here will be next time. And so thank you for spending time with me, and I wish you well.